You pick up your phone. You barely glance at it, and it's open. No password, no thinking, just you. In about 0.3 of a second, a machine looked at a face or a fingertip and decided, out of 8 billion people on Earth, that this one is you. How on earth does it know? The word biometric comes from Greek, bios, life, and metron, measurement, the measurement of life. And the idea is beautifully simple. Your body is your password. Your fingerprints formed before you were born and never change. Your iris holds over 200 unique points. Even your heartbeat and the way you walk are yours alone. You don't carry the key. You are the key. To trust that key, your device runs a whole pipeline, 7 stages. It enrolls you, it matches you, it checks you're alive, it fights off fakes, it picks where to draw the line, it logs you in without passwords, and it even learns how you behave. Let's walk through all 7. It starts with the ridges on your skin. Those tiny raised lines and the valleys between them form a pattern that's set in place during the 10th week in the womb, and it stays with you for life. 2 people have never been found to share one, not even identical twins. But the device doesn't memorize the whole picture. It hunts for landmarks called minutiae, a bifurcation where one ridge splits in 2, a ridge ending where a line just stops, a delta where 3 ridge systems meet. A single finger has 60 to 120 of these, and you only need a dozen or so to tell people apart. Here's the part that surprises people. Your phone never stores a photo of your fingerprint. It stores those landmarks as a list of numbers, their positions and angles. We call that the template. And the magic is one way. From those numbers, the original image cannot be rebuilt. There is no picture to steal. So why does enrollment make you press the same finger over and over? Because no 2 presses are ever the same. The pressure shifts, the angle tilts, your skin is drier or damp. The device gathers several reads and averages them into one stable model. So it recognizes you on a good day and a bad one alike. That template is locked away in a special vault, the secure enclave on Apple devices, the trusted execution environment on Android. It's walled off from the operating system itself. So even if malware completely owns your phone, it still can't reach inside and read your biometrics. They never leave the chip. And there's more than one way to read a finger. Capacitive sensors measure a tiny electrical charge. Ridges sit closer than valleys, so they read stronger. Optical sensors take a picture with light under the glass. And ultrasonic sensors bounce sound to build a 3-dimensional map, which is why they still work when your finger is wet or grubby. Now the real test. Next time you touch the sensor, the device has a split second to decide, same finger or not. And remember, no 2 reads are ever identical. Press the very same finger 100 times and you get 100 slightly different images. So the system can't demand a perfect copy. That would reject you constantly. Instead, it works in stages. First, alignment. It rotates and slides one print until it best lines up with the other, like laying 2 transparencies on top of each other. Only once they're aligned can it fairly compare the landmarks. Then it measures. For each landmark in the stored template, it finds the nearest one in the new read and measures the distance between them, the straight line, Euclidean distance. Add it all up and you get a matching score, a single number, 0 to 100, for how alike these 2 fingerprints really are. And here's the kicker. Even the same finger almost never scores a perfect 100. There's always a little wobble, which forces a hard question on us. How high is high enough? Where, exactly, do we draw the line? It also depends on the job. Your phone does 1-to-1 matching, your finger against one stored template. Simple. But an airport or a border does 1-to-many, your finger against millions of records at once. That's a vastly harder search, leaning on clever indexing just to finish in seconds. But wait, what if I just hold up a photo of your face? Or press a silicone cast of your finger to the sensor? This is where liveness detection steps in. Its whole job is to ask one question. Is there a real, living person here right now? Or just a clever fake? One approach is active. The system asks you to do something on the spot. Blink, smile, turn your head. And crucially, the order is random every single time. That randomness matters. If the challenges always came in the same order, an attacker could record one video and replay it forever. The other approach is passive. It checks without you ever noticing. Face ID projects more than 30,000 infrared dots to measure depth, so a flat photo simply has nowhere to hide. It senses warmth because a screen or a print is cold. The best systems even detect the faint pulse of blood flow under living skin. The international standard sorts attacks into 3 levels. Level 1, flat printed photos. Nearly every phone stops these. Level 2, replayed videos and paper masks that needs a depth or infrared sensor. Level 3, lifelike silicone masks and real-time deepfakes. That takes deep, layered analysis to catch. Because biometric security is an arms race. Every new defense is met by a cleverer attack, and every clever attack inspires a better defense. It never really ends, it just keeps escalating. And these aren't science fiction. In 2019, researchers fooled a flagship fingerprint sensor with a 3D printed finger costing under $500. In 2020, a team beat Face ID with a special mask for about $150. Back in 2014, someone even rebuilt a politician's fingerprint from a press photo. The saving grace? Every one of these still has to beat liveness detection too. And look what modern defenses did to the success rates. A printed photo that once sailed through almost every time now fails on a well-built system nearly always. Even silicone masks have been pushed to the margins by stacking liveness detection, deep learning, multiple sensors, and analysis over time. To measure all this fairly, engineers use the standard called ISO 30107. It tracks 2 numbers: APSR, the fraction of attacks that slip through, and BPCR, the fraction of genuine users wrongly turned away. A good system pushes both of them down at the same time. Which brings us back to that line we had to draw. Say a fingerprint scores 82%. Is 82 good enough to let you in? That cutoff has a name, the threshold, and choosing it is one of the most important decisions in the whole field. Picture 2 bell curves. The green one is genuine users, the red one is imposters, and they overlap in the middle. Now slide the threshold. Set it high, and you're safe. But you start rejecting the real you. That's the false rejection rate. Set it low, and you breeze in, but so might a stranger. That's the false acceptance rate. Every step towards security costs you convenience. The sweet spot where those 2 error rates are equal is called the equal error rate. To compare whole systems, engineers plot the ROC curve, every possible threshold at once. The closer that curve hugs the top left corner, the better. An area under it of 1.0 would be a flawless system. Here's what that means in practice. Touch ID gives roughly a 1 in 50,000 chance a stranger unlocks your phone. Face ID, reading your face in 3 dimensions, is about 1 in a million, 20 times safer. And an iris scan reaches 1 in 1.2 million, because the iris is just that rich in detail. Now let's fix something everybody hates: passwords. They get forgotten. They get phished. They leak in giant breaches. And we reuse the same ones everywhere. So here's the radical question. What if there were no password at all? That's the promise of WebAuthn, built by Apple, Google, and Microsoft. When you sign up, your device creates a pair of keys. The public key goes off to the website. The private key never, ever leaves your device, locked behind your fingerprint. There is no shared secret sitting on a server to steal. Logging in becomes a handshake. 1. The server sends a fresh random challenge. 2. Your device asks for your fingerprint, and only then unlocks the private key to sign that challenge. 3. The server checks the signature with your public key. The proof crosses the internet. Your fingerprint and your secret never do. And that quietly kills 3 whole classes of attack. There's no secret on the server to breach. Phishing fails because the key is bound to the real website's address. And replay fails because every login uses a brand new challenge. Even text message 2-factor can't promise all of that. You've probably already met this. They're called passkeys. Your fingerprint becomes your login. They sync across your devices with end-to-end encryption, so losing a phone doesn't lock you out. Over 1 billion devices already support them. Now for something stranger. A system can recognize you not from your face or finger, but from how you type. Your speed, your timing, the little hitches in your rhythm. They form a behavioral fingerprint that's surprisingly hard to fake. It comes down to 2 timings. Dwell time, how long you hold each key down, and flight time, the gap as you travel between keys. String those together, and the rhythm is so distinctive that keystroke dynamics alone can identify a person with up to 98% accuracy. But behavior changes with your mood and your coffee, so it's rarely the front door lock. Instead, it runs quietly in the background, continuous authentication. If your pattern suddenly lurches, maybe someone else grabbed your device. It asks you to prove yourself again. Don't trust once at login, verify all the time. That's the idea behind zero trust. Banks already watch for behavior that doesn't fit. Online exams use it to confirm the same person stayed in the seat. It flags bots, which type too perfectly to be human. But it cuts both ways. Your typing can quietly reveal your health. Early Parkinson's, for instance, shows up in the keystrokes before the clinic ever sees it. So where is this all going? Amazon One lets you pay by waving your palm. A near-infrared light reads the map of veins beneath your skin. Because that pattern is internal, you can't photograph it or lift it from a glass. And its error rate is about 1 in 10 million. Your heart has a signature too. The Pentagon built a device called Jetson that identifies a person by their heartbeat from 200 meters away, using an infrared laser to read the pulse through clothing. No cooperation needed. You wouldn't even know. Your voice carries a print, shaped by your throat and your sinuses. Though AI can now clone a convincing voice from just 3 seconds of audio. And your gait, the way you walk, is distinctive enough that cameras can pick you out of a crowd from 50 meters, even with your face covered. Underneath the newest systems is deep learning. A neural network turns your face into a vector, say 512 numbers in a high-dimensional space, and matching becomes simply measuring the distance between points. The real future is multimodal, face plus voice plus behavior together. So fooling the system means fooling all of them at once. But this is a double-edged sword. The same technology that guards your phone can power mass surveillance. And there's a deeper problem. A leaked password, you can reset. Your face, you cannot. That's exactly why the best designs keep your biometric data on your own device, and never in some central database waiting to be breached. So that's the pipeline. Enroll, match, liveness, threshold, WebAuthn, behavior, layer upon layer, all working to answer one question. Is it really you? There is no perfect system, only trade-offs between security, convenience, and privacy. But understanding how it all works is its own kind of power. You'll know when to trust it and when to add one more lock. Because in the end, your body really is the one password you can never forget.